to be just kind of hanging out because I saw the trash on YouTube and realized you guys needed to be saved from yourself. So let Bullhorn Betty save you. We can just have a little bit of fun over here. I hope everybody's doing great this evening. And of course, the dog is now crying and going to make me chase her all over the house, which I'm not going to do. And I think it's because she hears me on here talking. I don't know. Would you like up here, honey? You want to say hi to everybody? Give me a second, y'all. If anybody comes in the chat, tell them where I'm at. I'm going to chase a dog down that can't. Oh, she's coming up to me. Here, come on. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? I'm not playing with you. I'm live. I gotta work. There we go. Gotta work. A little coffee bean. My little coffee bean. We're just hanging out with people so they don't have to watch the trash of YouTube. That's why. We just don't want them to watch the trash of YouTube. Yes, I know. I know you're full of energy right now. Full of energy. Woo! I even gave her an old sock to chew on, she's teething really bad, and I think her teeth are starting to hurt her, and she's needing more teething stuff, but she needs something, her toys are okay, but she's not able to get her teeth through them. She needs something that she can bite through. Hi guys, it's nice to see you all now that I got my glasses so I can read. Hey SSD, Karma's mom, Michelle, Caitlin, Mickey, Sorta Morta, True Crime Addict, Chickapee, it's nice to see you. Yeah, I was supposed to go to the emergency hearing of the REC, and so after talking to my friend, I decided not to go there. So I'm just I already got dressed to go, and then I decided last minute, well, it wasn't anything. What? It's coffee, and no, you're not getting any. I'm sorry, absolutely not. When have I given you coffee before? Give her a second. Give her a second. She wants coffee. There ain't no stinking way. Like, none. You're not getting coffee. You want to lick my water bottle? I'll let you lick the water bottle. You want some water bottle? Here, lick the water bottle. Oh, there you go. I know you like that. Nice and cool for you. Just finding out things that work. She's definitely full of life today. She's not being lazy. Don't bite my water bottle. Trying to get water all over, Mom? We know what you do to water bottles. You put holes all in them. We have a star of the show. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Come here. Come here, Jelly Belly. Come here, Jelly Belly. Don't be shy. You haven't been shy so far. You've been bouncing off the walls. Say hi, everybody. I'm bouncing off the walls for my mommy. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I just love bouncing off the walls. Right when she goes live, never fails, I decide that it is time for me to start playing and wanting mommy's attention. Every time I hear her talk, I think she's talking to me. So I gotta be up here and up her butt. Hey guys that are just coming in. So I figured what we would do for this live is, you guys know I have been awful about the emails and things of that nature. So we're going to be going through some emails. We're going to be answering some questions about everything. Yeah, she's full of energy. That's all I know. She's full of energy. Stop. She's starting to get more comfortable in the house, which is really cute. I called her boss this morning because she's the boss of the house now. When she wants to play, we play. When I want her to settle down, she doesn't settle down. She still thinks it's playtime. So as you can see, she thinks I'm a jungle gym right now. So I figured we'd go through some emails as we, because a lot of people have been writing me. A lot of people have been sending me stuff related to Sebastian Rogers, as well as, everything from, related to the assassination attempt. Those are the two major cases that we're covering right now, is the assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump, former President Donald J. Trump, which is actually the Republican nominee as we speak. Please stay away from my stand. You're going to knock it over. Thank you. And so there's been a lot of whistleblowing that's been going on. We heard very early on through sources and other people online that there was a stand down order. There was somebody and obviously somebody was removed from a roof. So it just doesn't sound very good. Obviously Kim Cheadle finally succumbed to pressure, but they're going to probably bring her up on criminal charges. She was very defiant to Congress. Like that's something you don't really want to do. Like, they have a lot of power. I don't think people understand that the power our Congress has of subpoenaing people, like full-fledged investigations, like going through every aspect of your life. It seems like they knew she had signal on her private. Like they even told her, "We're going through your private phone. We're going to order your private phone. We're going to find out who you've been talking to and what you've been doing." We had some scares. There was a lot of information because people knew when President Biden was in Las Vegas that there was a major medical situation, and it sounds like he might have had a mini stroke as part of his complications, potentially with COVID. I'm hearing he had a mini stroke. It obviously, we haven't heard from him yet, but he was seen boarding Air Force One, which was, a lot of people, there's been a lot of rumors going around about the well-being of President Biden. He's going to be, it sounds like he is going to be serving out his term, and I think, it's pretty sad because we've all been pretty much lied to about his presidency. He has been like this. This is why they didn't want him doing any... You're about to fall off the bed. Stop. Good gracious. Good gracious. Here. Chew on this Energizer. He's going to serve out his term even though he has dementia. Like, they lied to us in 2020. That's why they couldn't afford any debates. They couldn't afford any debates in 2020, and people were just so angry. They had built up this coalition of hate towards Trump that it was so powerful that they were able to do what they've never been able to do. Literally elect a nominee that didn't even need to go and debate anyone. And then now this year, they've literally chosen, like, who chose Kamala Harris? It definitely wasn't the party, the Democrat Party. They didn't even vote. They didn't even have a choice. I have never in my life, and everybody is downplaying this. They're like, this is hugely historic that a party, the head honchos of a party pick out their nominee and shove it down their party's throat. Like, the people didn't even get to vote. I'm like, I feel like I'm in the freaking Twilight Zone over here. How in the hell did the Democratic people not get to vote for their nominee? I would literally be raising holy hell if my party shoved a nominee down my throat without a freaking vote. Like, for me, it's very important that I circle my ballot, that I fill in my ballot. It's important for me to do that. It's important for me to help elect the lead of the party that I am associated with. It's very important for me to have my decision in the election process. It is the American way. I have never in my life heard that a party literally can say, well, they're your nominee, literally booting every other possibility that the Democratic people could choose. They had no choice. I would be absolutely upset because they promised their people that they cared for their people. Well, they haven't. They robbed them blind first and foremost, and they robbed the whole country blind first and foremost, and then they decide to tell their party who they're putting up for president. Can you guys, I just want to, how would you guys feel if that was, if that was what, well, it might have just happened to some of the people that watch us here, you know, because we've got all different people from all different backgrounds and all different political standings, which is their absolute right to have. But I would be really, really upset if that were the case. I really would be highly, highly upset. What is your problem? I think we might need to go outside to do this live because she's got a lot of energy, and usually in the backyard is where she can run it out. That's my finger. Didn't I give you a sock or something? Do you need another sock? Oh, that's it right there. Oh, she's cutting her back teeth. Her top back teeth are cutting in. She's been whimpery a lot lately, and she's trying to break in the top back. I can feel her very back teeth. I can feel them starting to come in on one side. The one side's broke through the skin, but the other side hasn't. That's why she's been in. Aww. Yeah, and then your bottom ones are still. Oh, I feel another one. The bottom back are coming in. Oh. She's getting her little molar canines. But how old are they when they start losing their baby teeth? Yeah, she's teething. My fingers. Thank God she hasn't. Well, she's busted a little bit of skin, but not much. And that's just from me roughhousing with her when when I'm playing with her and I get a little too close to her and she bites. There she is right there. She's like, nope. Well, you know why she's being so finicky too is because she saw me, because I was thinking I was going to have to go to this. I'm not letting her run around the house for, an hour and a half, 2 hours by herself. She was going to have to go in the kennel. And just for a couple hours, she has to go in the kennel when I got to leave. I can't leave, there's a lot of things here. Ow! A lot of things that could, I worry about cords, power cords. When you're here, you can monitor that, She hasn't really eaten any cords or anything, but I'm home with her all the time. So, we haven't had any real major issues, except when she's on the ground, she'll take my house slippers and start chewing, but they're cloth, like you can't even see what she doesn't do any damage to them. So, but that's really it. But I wasn't going to leave her. So she saw that and she just started following me all over. That was cute. She's like, she knew something was coming up. And so she had to follow me all over. So we've been getting a lot of stuff.
You know what happened to my home?
Thank you.
I figure we might as well just go over everything.
Ranking Member Raskin, and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Kimberly Cheadle, and I'm the Director of the United States Secret Service. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. The assassination.
Did you know that we had another?
Donald Trump on July 3rd.
Do you know that we had another meeting today? I didn't realize that I actually made a thumbnail for it but then I realized, see, this is my thumbnail that I made for it. And then I realized that it was almost to the end, and by the time I went live, we would only caught like the last 20 minutes. So I listened to it for like the last, hour of it, and they had, I don't know who that was. It was, I remember his name's Paris, Colonel Paris, but I don't know, if he was if he was top of our military, but they had another guy that was like part of the police and stuff like that. And so they were talking about, some of the stuff going on. Obviously, this whole DEI thing, trying to go after identity instead of ability. If they're, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not an identity politics type of person at all. I'm who's better for the job type of person. If that's a woman, it's a woman. If it's a man, it's a man. It just is what it is. And women, in all fairness, if you want to be as good as a man, then you need to go out there and be as good as a man, right? Like we all have. What does that mean? It means working your ass off, right? If you know that you're behind the eight ball or you're not taken seriously, you got to work 100 times harder. It's not impossible. There's a lot of women that are out there in very, very powerful positions, but they earned it. Like even Kamala Harris, she's never been voted for ever, not once. This will be the most historic thing if she ever became president. A president of the United States without a single freaking vote. Like that to me is the most insane communism thing that you could possibly do to a free republic. And I digress. I do. I don't want to carry on. But it's very, very, very upsetting to me that this is kind of the state of the Democratic Party. Not because I'm a Democrat. It's obviously because it doesn't matter. I feel like they got screwed. I feel like they totally got screwed. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's just, how I feel about the situation because I know how I would feel if my vote was stolen from me. And it's very concerning. Sorry, but not sorry. So I'm going to try to get back to Sebastian a little bit because I know that there's been some things going on in the Sebastian case. I know Silver on the scene has been out there. He's been kind of boots on the ground, just checking out some things and doing his part. We're doing our part. We went out there. We posted flyers. Those flyers were all torn down. While I was there, I was stalked for at least 30 minutes because we went back through the footage and we could clearly see that Terry Bowersox followed me for a significant time, which is, again, very concerning for me because I was unaware of my surroundings. And that's a dangerous place for me to be, is be unaware of my surroundings and to be completely alone. And those two things persisted in that trip. I was alone. I didn't go with a team because there were so many people that were spreading around false information without one scintilla of receipts about what the purpose of me going to this area was. And I did, and as I do every single time, did exactly what I said I was going to do because, let's face it, these other channels like to lie for content. They like to incite their audience to make them feel some kind of way, and they lie about what my true intentions are, even though I'm very clear. And it's done for no other purpose than to incite their audience thinking I'm there for something else. So they start calling the cops, they start reaching out to all these people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I know who the problem is in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I witnessed the problems in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I experienced the problems in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I understand exactly why Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, is insisting on doing private searches. So nobody knows where he's at. Nobody can go over there and harass him, and nobody can run off the people that he's assembled to help search for his son. At the end of the day, he's looking for his son to come back healthy and strong. And that has not happened in almost 6 months. And somebody needs to answer for that, Somebody needs to answer for that. Oh, Lady Dog Lover, a.k.a. Jean, Bone for Delilah. I will get her. Well, I'll have to get her a few for that money because she got a tiny little mouth. And so, like, even something like this is, she works it though, but something like this is almost too big for her just yet. She still needs to, but she chews the heck out of this. You can see her little teeth mark, especially on this. She's got a favorite end. She's got a favorite end of this. But she's got like a place, like she's got a place to play. Like I got a place to play in the hallway. So when I'm working here and she doesn't want to be in bed, she's got a place where she can keep an eye on me because, as long as she can see me, she's good. So I got a rug in the hallway with some toys on it. And then of course she's taken over the living room. So like all of her toys are in the living room, strung from one recliner to the other. recliner. But she keeps it on the rug. You know, I can't complain. She keeps it on the rug. When she tears up stuff, she keeps it on the rug. It's easy to clean up. And look at that. She's all that energy. All that energy. All that energy. And she's clunked out. She does that. She just works herself, and then she just crashes. That's just Delilah, right? You guys seen her crawling all over me like I'm a jungle gym, and now it's like clunk. I mean, she's just out just like that. And but it's been, I gotta tell you, it's been an absolute, I don't know what to do without her, like seriously. But I feel so bad because she does not like the kennel, so I won't keep her in the kennel much. But again, it's only for potty training, and she's potty trained, you know. She lets me know when she needs to go out. I'm going to start teaching her the bell, like, you know, where we have like a little dangly bell on the doorknob so she can go up and hit it. Dogs have always, I've trained, I shouldn't say I've trained, but my ex and my brother-in-law have always trained their dogs to hit something. And so I'm going to try to get her trained on hitting a bell, just to make sure I know that she needs to go potty or wants to go outside, you know. Be honest with you, sometimes she just goes outside to chew on the weeds. She likes the grass. I don't know what it is. She thinks it's funny seeing it moving all over the place because it's so hot right now. I fired my lawn man. Okay, so I fired my lawn man. I need to get a weed eater. That's what I need to get. I got a weed eater, but it's going to take me forever to use it, period. It is what it is. So that's what I'm going to do actually, you know what, that's what I could do tonight, since I don't have to go to the REC meetings, go up to Lowe's or Home Depot and get me a weed eater. So there is that. Okay, so please excuse all the grammar. I just wanted to say. So here's something from, now I don't know, this is pretty long-winded. I hate reading things without reading them first, so I'm just going to have to hold off on that one until I can actually read it. Hindsight 2002. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I found the Excel spreadsheet with all the prior like interviews and stuff. I think we need to go through that, because I found the full green shirt, or the not the green shirt interview, the hands interview. We've never gone over the hands interview. I mean, we did when it first came out, but it was very it was thorough for that, but we've never revisited it. And there's also some other interviews we haven't revisited either that we really should revisit. That Chris and Katie were in, whether we like it or not, you know, we should revisit them. I'm going to take clips because several of them were on a channel that I don't really care for. It was disgusting, and they weren't really talking about anything related to the case. They were, you know, they weren't even bringing up Sebastian's name. They were just talking to hear themselves talk, and I'm just thinking, this is disgusting. Like, what parents actually go on these things, hang out with these nasty, dirty, rotten scoundrels on in the bowels of YouTube, and start joking around and acting like their son doesn't even matter, not even saying their son's name. Like, how disgusting of a person do you need to be? And then things are starting to heat up. You know, they kept going out thinking they were going to change the direction of this case, and now they just think if they just go away, it's going to go away. I can promise you, and I can assure you, it is not going to go away. And I can promise you and assure you that I'm going to be back in this community a lot, because Sebastian still isn't found. I'm going to be in the community at the end of, well, it's already the end of this month, but in a few days into August. Then I'm going to be back there at the end of August to do a gathering of the voices at the a police station, the sheriff's office. And then I'm going to still be doing my investigation, you know, just like Summer Wells. We were out there literally almost on a monthly basis for a solid year. And we can't forget that we still have Layla Santinello and Holland Snap to boot. And then Summer Wells. 4 major cases in the state of Tennessee, all nobodies, and all not one person held accountable for squat. I was just talking to my friend that my political, he's like I'm like his protege. When I got into politics years ago, this was a gentleman that I sat down with and met with for the first time and said, look, I don't like the direction of my county. I see that you're active. What can you do? How can you help me be better? How, a better citizen of this community, and what can I do to help? And so that's when he referred me over to my school board. And he's like, well, I'd start here. And I'm like, ew, we got some problems over here in the school board now, don't we? We've got funding problems. We got loose purse problems. We have a hot mess express. We have books that haven't been reconciled. Like, it was a flippin' mess in the school board here in Manatee County, a flippin' mess. And I'm not going to lie about it. It absolutely was a mess, and it probably still is a mess. I had to step away because I was getting too frustrated, especially with Mary Foreman being up on that dais. Like, she lied to the people. She got a vote, and then she did exactly opposite of what she promised the people to. I can't stand people like that, and I call them out every last time. I don't like her. She's going to be a one-term wonder. That's it. She's out. She was literally out 2 weeks after her getting into that office, and she didn't care. Has no backbone. I don't like weak women. Like, there's something in this. There's something about, I don't really care for weak women, and personally, just not that I can't like them, not that I'm not friends with people that are weak or anything like that. And what I mean by weak, they just don't, they like to sugarcoat. They never stand on, like, they'll let something that they don't like continue to happen and continue to happen and continue to happen without saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Weak. And it's not that I don't have friends that are like that. It's just the people that I collaborate with in the stuff I do. You need strong people. You need people that go in there and don't mind kicking in a front door, figuratively. Okay, I don't want anybody getting all up in arms. Like the burning down the house comment, right? A conversation that we always say, like when Carol Whitmore was in there, she's willing to burn down the house. That means she's willing to destroy everything to get her way. And, it's a figure of speech that we use in politics, And it's funny because people that aren't in politics, when you say, like, or they just intentionally know what it means, but just they just try to cause problems. It doesn't matter, whatever the case may be. My politicians know me. Like, even when people call here, I'll get a call like, Andrew, I just wanted to let you know we got a call. Well, I'd say ignore it, and if they call back again, you don't know me. Never seen me before in my life. Okay, you're good. But with Katie and Chris, they seem like they were always on these shows for themselves. They never really seemed like they were on the shows for avocation. You always seen them in emojis, and even when they had their emojis on, they didn't even have Sebastian's face in it. Like, they did literally nothing to advocate for Sebastian except put a measly sign up in their yard that nobody can hardly see. Anybody that advocated for that boy in that community, that whole community should be ashamed of itself. I'm sorry, they should be. I'm sure there's some good-hearted people in there. I'm sure they're all good-hearted people, but in the humanity respect, they should all be ashamed of themselves, because they literally made sure that this boy's name is shoveled under the rug in their community. They literally, this is a national case, and I understand national cases are a little hairy, and they just, they prefer their privacy over finding this boy, in my opinion. And it's sad to say, but that's just truly how I feel. And it is emboldened by their lack of signage in their own yards, or green lights, or ribbons, just to say you give a damn about the kid. And we're finding out that they didn't know that that they even really had a kid there, that nothing, and it is true, nothing on the outside of that house screams that a child or anybody other than adults live in that home. They never took that boy out of that home, hardly ever. They've been there a year and a half, and a few of the neighbors knew of Sebastian. That's really sad. Because just like Seth, why wasn't Katie taking him to parks? Why wasn't Katie getting him out of the house? Why wasn't Katie doing other things with him besides throwing him in his room with toys? Talk about a lazy parent. There was other times that I saw a picture of him where he was at school dirty. He looked like he hadn't had a shower. And then you see, and then all she ever does is point out all of his defects every time she talks about him. The nicest thing I've ever heard Chris say, or Chris really be proud of Sebastian for, is the fact that he can beat a grown man at chess. That is the only thing that Chris has ever been proud of that boy for. And how do I know that? Because his behavior tells me that. He's constantly talking about how Sebastian won. That's it. And Katie was most proud of him running around that field years ago, where he got marks on the back of his shirt. She says she does crafts with him from the Lowe's, right? She wanted to get, oh yeah, he loves doing those crafts from Lowe's. But she's never really provided any examples of his work. You don't see, like normal parents, like you guys see on my refrigerator, I got papers for my grandchildren coloring me something that they pulled out of a coloring book. It's still on my refrigerator all these years later. And she's got nothing like that. She didn't pull out any of his crafts throughout the years that he did in school or anything like that. Did she ever keep any of it? How much of Sebastian is already erased from that home? Why did they need the cleaning lady to come in? Is Chris even working anymore? Why do they still have the camper over at Yogi Bear? None of this stuff is making sense. And it seems to me that Chris may not go back to that St. Jude's project. It doesn't sound like he's working that St. Jude's project. I don't know if he is or not, but it really is making me wonder. Really is making me wonder. Let's see what we got here. Sabal, thank you, Pebbles. Sweet Misery, it's nice to see you. CC, it's nice to see you. Lisa, Pepper, it's nice to see you too. They said they they didn't post billboards. Duchess posted billboards. And after Duchess posted billboards, Cluminati took over the billboards. The Proudfoots didn't do shit. I want to make sure that's clear. The Proudfoots haven't done shit. They got a few signs. Like Seth has literally expended money, like major money on gas, on attorneys, on PIs. Everybody's like, well, why aren't you putting together a reward fund? Well, I'm happy to put together a reward fund for people to donate to, but right now every bit of money that I can possibly collect for Seth is going toward his means of trying to find him and locate his son. Because let's face it, nobody's going to know where this kid is. Chris and Katie didn't have a whole lot of friends. It's not like they're relying on a whole bunch of people here. They're relying on family. And family ain't coming forward. Because if they were coming forward, they'd have had their butts out there searching for this boy right along with everybody else. All these strangers that seem to care more about Sebastian than his own mother and his stepfather and his side of the family. I'm also hearing through the grapevine that there may be another search in the works. Of course, it's private. But you don't ever hear Katie and Chris talking about searches or going out there. Hell, we don't even hear from them anymore. They don't bother advocating for their son, and they don't bother coming to the screen because everything was being used against them. I'm pretty sure law enforcement has spoken to them. I'm pretty sure the reason why Kathy came forward is because she was probably spoke to about her potential involvement. We brought up legitimate stuff. That was an SUV outside of that house. And as you can tell with the Trump investigation, all of us here on on social media seem to have the answers before our officials have the answers, right? Kind of funny how that happens. We had the freaking lady of the Secret Service can't even tell us how long they spotted this guy, yet everybody in America knows how long it took them from the time they spotted this guy to the time that they executed the guy, right? Everybody knows this. But our Secret Service director seems to not know the timeline. Can't remember it. It's awfully funny that this is why we do what we do. This is why we don't wait for media to tell us what we need to know. This is why we don't let officials stop us from doing the work that we do. Because sometimes, just a little bit, probably 50-50 or majority of the time, we come up with the answers long before law enforcement because they got to take the long road around, right? They got to take the long road around. They can't just speak. They can't just speak. I agree. It's sad fear. Proudfoot Bower Sox family fearing people or paying people to shut up. Well, I can tell you they ain't paying me, but they did try to intimidate me, and it was clear intimidation. It was clear intimidation. Terry just wanted to let me know he was there just to let me know he was there. And so I got out of my car and let myself be known. Like, who the hell do you think you are? And who the hell does he think I am? Like, does he really want to piss me off? Seriously. Like, I am the one that would literally show up to the front of their house. You know what I'm saying? They better be lucky that I care more about this boy than to waste my time with them just yet. There may be a time. Depends on where my work leads me. But like literally, I'm seriously not the one. And trust me, if I had my bullhorn that day, I would have showed up at the front of their house. You do not intimidate me. You do not intimidate me at all. That is like literally the worst thing that you can possibly do. I do not like feeling intimidated. I do not like having my life or my personal safety in jeopardy. And I will fight for that. Believe that. I will fight for me. You see how hard I fight for these victims. You should see how hard I fight for myself. I fight for myself damn hard. Damn hard. You know what I think about these people? And that's why I think it's possible CP lured him easy fishing or snake hunting. It's possible. He would have put his shoes on, though. The shoes thing bothered me. The shoes things bother me. Does Katie get life insurance policy if Sebastian's not found within a time period without... No, not in a situation like this. No, he has to be deemed deceased. And once he's deemed deceased, I'm pretty sure everything changes for the Proudfoots. Everything changes for the Proudfoots. As soon as he, and that's something that Seth may want to consider pushing at some point is, if they can't find him, he won't, it's hard because he wants his son to come back. But at some point, there's going to have to be a push so we can seek justice for his son, especially in light if we never find his son. I'm perfectly fine with a second degree. If that's where this stuff leads us, I'm perfectly fine with a second degree. I'm not going, even though I feel like it's a first degree situation, I'd rather see justice than no justice at all, So we'll see how that all works out. I'm sure that's going to be, years ahead. I have a theory I want to share with you. I never thought about before, but would certainly explain the lengthy phone call that night. I want to send you an email when I can. Okay, Debbie, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Chris is proud of Sebastian for supposedly walking away and not leaving any evidence. Yeah. Best part about it is he didn't leave any evidence. You mean you didn't leave any evidence, Mr. Proudfoot? And I always said the lack of evidence is the evidence. Remember, mark these words. There's certain things I say. You guys need to pay attention to those. Oh, good, my gracious. My leg's falling asleep. Interesting, he ran around the field. So did he run to the retaining pond and try to make it to school, but was grabbed at the retaining pond? I don't think they followed Sebastian's scent to the retaining pond. That's what I'm hearing. There was a scent found, but I don't think it was Sebastian's. It was somebody else in the house, and I think law enforcement knows it. They should still do forensic if there were fluids. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. That actually is one of the primary goals of our gathering of voices. The gathering of voices, one of our primary goals is to make sure law enforcement understands the severity of not having forensics at this point, and understanding that they do have probable cause, predominantly in his room. I think they have probable cause for the entire house, personally speaking. But I know for a fact, without a doubt, 100%, they have probable cause for his bedroom. And if they find anything suspicious in his bedroom, it will open up the probable cause for the entire home. I truly believe they have enough here that they can do the entire house. I mean, this was the place he was last seen. I mean, this is and nobody saw him walk out the door. Like, I think it's literally, negligent. And like they're obstructing their own case by not getting this forensics. It is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And they're not communicating with Seth. So, if you're not communicating with the father, the father is going to be like, hey, why isn't there forensics done? Or was there forensics done? That's not going to the integrity of the investigation, because let's face it, Chris and Katie would know if they had forensics done in their house. So it's not like it's a secret. It's not like it's a state secret. But why almost 6 months later? Like, literally, when I'm doing this gathering of voices in front of Sumner County, we're on the 6-month milestone. What law enforcement body waits 6 months to get forensics? Literally. They can argue with me till the cows come home, but I know what probable cause is, and I know damn well they've got it for that room. And they still refuse to do forensics in that room. Why are they so hell-bent on failing to do the forensics? Why did they allow Chris and Katie to professionally clean that house? Why? Like, what idiot is in charge? That's literally what I want to say. What idiot is in charge? Because I'd like to say you're an idiot, right? What knucklehead does this? This is a 15-year-old boy that vanished in the middle of the night, and nobody knows where he went, and we know he's not on any camera. So therefore, he didn't leave that house willingly. He didn't leave the house willingly. So I don't know. I can't believe DCSF, in my opinion, illegally didn't do their job when Sebastian was alive and missing. They seem to fail everybody. They were there literally the day before Summer Wells went missing. Inside that disgusting, unfit home. They should have immediately, unless it's okay to let your children live in squalor and roaches and rats. I mean, if that's really the okay factor, the acceptable factor in Tennessee, we've got some major problems in Tennessee. That is disgusting. No child should have to live there. They had no walls in the freaking bathroom with a revolving door of men and women that were on drugs coming in and out of their home. Anytime a man had to go in there and do his business, guess what? All the kids got to see their man parts. That's inappropriate. Inappropriate. And DCS just let them stack up some dressers? What if the dresser fell? Like, these people. There's nothing left upstairs in Tennessee, not even with the Department of Children and Family Services. Who thought that living condition or quarters were okay? They should have immediately called law enforcement out there and immediately removed them under emergency protection. And they failed. If they would have done that the night before, Summer would still be alive. And we may have found out what really happened to her in her 5 short years. But Don made sure that didn't happen, and so did Candace. So it says, my oldest will be 30 tomorrow. Aww. I still have stuff around my house that my kids made me in pottery class at school. Exactly. We saw none of that around the house for Sebastian. None. How is that possible? It just doesn't. And everybody's saying people grieve differently. Well, you know, people parent differently too, but I've never seen such a cold parenting style in my life. So cold, and you know, most people would say that that was abusive, that his environment was abusive. Had it been any other, I guarantee if the shoes were on the other foot and Bullhorn Betty was the one, and I bet you all these hate channels that are backing Chris and Katie wouldn't be backing them. They would probably be condemning me for the crap that Katie and Chris has done if I did the same thing. They wouldn't back Bullhorn Betty. They would be, their narrative would be different because they're a bunch of hypocrites, uneducated idiots with an opinion and a microphone. Felons. Couldn't get a job at 7-Eleven. They gave money for those billboards. Small town girl, how much money did they give? $500 at the most? Maybe you should get your facts straight. Do you think that that's appropriate when you have a missing child? $500? And then they tell the whole entire world that there was a $3,500 reward fee and that was a lie? You want to keep going with this? You know, they put minimal money forth. They put minimal effort forth. Minimal. And if you want to contradict that, please show me the receipts. Please. I guarantee there are none. I searched and searched and searched and searched. And not only that, you keep saying they had money put. I haven't even seen receipts for that. There's no proof that they have paid one dime. None. Not one receipt. So if you can find the receipt for me, send it my way so I can eat my words. I'd like to eat my words. I really want to eat my words. So if you find the receipt of where Katie and Chris have spent a dime on Sebastian since he's been missing, I'd like to see it. But so far, I bet you I can produce a crap ton of receipts for Seth. But I haven't been able to produce, except a gas receipt for Chris and Katie running away. We do have that. We do have that it cost probably about $100 or more for them to run away from home, to run away from their missing son. That I can produce. Just saying. Hey, Cheeky Chops. It's nice to see you. From what I heard, Chris' mom put up a billboard. I think that's what she's referring to. The only billboards I've heard are the ones that came from Dutch's, and I don't like people assuming stuff. Get your facts together and come back to me, because the only billboards that I have receipts for and proof for are the ones that Dutch's has. That's it. And people just come, well, I heard this and I heard that. Well, prove it. Because I can prove that Dutchess put those billboards up. And I can prove that Cluminati took over the billboards after Dutchess. I have never seen one receipt. And not only that, Kathy wouldn't even know where to begin on blipboards. I didn't even learn of blipboards until Dutchess brought them up. That's it. I've never even seen these things before. So this lady's not going to know squat about that. She's never advertised on a freaking billboard in her life. And stationary billboards are literally $3,000 or more a month. So I doubt that Kathy, Katie, Chris, or anybody has spent that kind of money for a billboard for a month. I guarantee they haven't. If you want to donate, Seth, yeah, if you guys want to donate, Seth, I have no way of putting it up from where I'm at right at the moment. But if you guys would like to help Seth, please do so. His stuff is being passed around. Yes, Chris said he finally got to be a Ninja Turtle. Poof, he's gone. The good thing is he left no trace. That's what CP said exactly in the interview, in those words. It's sad. And can you imagine all the people that turn this whole entire thing? Aw, thank you, Miss Lee. Y'all smash that like button. 21 mods. Good gracious. Good gracious. I love you, girl. I love you. I love you long time. My honest opinion is any information given to police will be ignored if it means finding Sebastian and bringing home, because someone in the police department is helping to cover up. I didn't believe that at first, but you know what? The case is not being handled like any high profile case I've ever seen. And the problem here is, it would, like I said at the beginning, it's one thing to ghost people when you have answers and you know you have answers. It's another thing to ghost people when you don't have them. It really looks bad in an election year, and maybe he's just trying to keep a low profile. Well, I hate to tell you, the sheriff and the people running for office are about to get a wake-up call, because not only do I fight for these kids, I'm a political activist, and you just like kind of, you know, kicked a hornet's nest by, and I said over and over and over again, you need to have public relations. I've said that from the beginning. You need to have public relations. It should not get to this point. It should not be where people from the community are calling me to step up to the plate. They should have it under control, and they do not. I would have no job if people did their job, you know, and people quit hurting people. I would literally have no job. So, I mean, everybody wants Bullhorn Betty quit killing people, quit disappearing people, and quit being law enforcement that doesn't do anything, that sits on their hands and runs away from their own, their own bosses, the people of their community. And that's exactly what Eric Craddock has done. He's the deputy chief, the lead investigator on this case, and he has literally stuck his head in the sand and hasn't been seen or heard from since. He screwed up this case, and he's hiding from the people because he doesn't want the people knowing while he's running for election, from my understanding. Well, he needs a little bit of a wake-up call. And I'm hoping that we get local attention with what we're doing. I hope we get national attention with what we're doing. Bullhorn Betty is going to be gathering at Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we are going to be raising our voices to seek justice for Sebastian. We want Sebastian brought home safely, but right now we have a law enforcement body that's not doing their job, and I want that to be known. Forensics are necessary, absolutely necessary in a case like this, and they have failed some of the most basic tasks in a case like this. That is unacceptable to people like me, that cover these cases all over the country, that know good policing from bad policing, that know that when you have no choice, you go for the low-hanging fruit. You get them for the jaywalking charge. You get them under your thumb. And right now, these parents are being able to skate without a worry in the world, but yet their child is missing while they're being able to live their best life ever. It's disgusting, and we watched it once already with the Summer Wells case, and it's made us sick to our stomach. And I cannot stomach dealing with it for another stinking case in Tennessee. Something has to be done with the laws in Tennessee. Period. The lawlessness has to go. They need to have their departments open 24/7 like the rest of frickin' America. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I heard North Carolina's the same way. But you know what? North Carolina doesn't seem to have the same problems. Well, you know what? Look at and this is a great contrast to Tennessee. Great contrast to Tennessee. Look at North Carolina and how they police, especially when there's no body. They had Madalena Kojikari's mother and stepfather hemmed up in jail for over a year, fighting to try to find that girl and where she's at. They have them, both of them parents, hemmed up for a year, would not let them out on bond or anything else. Hemmed up for a year. Over a year. What was it, 18 months for him and like 2 years for her? You know, and they have no body, right? They have no body. But they were hemmed up because they went for the low-hanging fruit. They went for whatever they could throw them in jail for. That's what we expect from law enforcement. When they cannot produce their kid and you are suspicious of them, get their ass in jail. If it means jaywalking, if it means for the Department of Children and Family Services and the abuse, then that's what you do. You take them to, you don't use your double jeopardy on the big case. You use it on the little cases. Those parents did something to that boy. There's abuse. There's a history of abuse there. Get them on the child negligence, the interference with custodial whatever. There's something that they can have these people arrested for and put them in the hot seat, but they don't. They're too busy being diplomatic and being nice to parents that could have done something terrible to their child. They don't care. It's not good enough for Bullhorn Betty. It shouldn't be good enough for you, and it should not be good enough for the people, the residents in Tennessee. The residents in Tennessee need to be going to that vote, and you guys need to be voting for law and order. And you need to be voting for people that are talking about funding your stinking law enforcement. Because when they run out of resources, guess what? Investigations just go to the wayside. Because just like everything else, they only have so much money. They don't print money. You know? They don't print money. They should do forensics that same day. And yes, of course, we all know the protocols. They should have had it done. It should have been, it should have been done. I mean, they even came in later with Leilani because, Leilani's case was going on for a while, and we watched their forensics being done there, and that's when we got into town. So they didn't do, the forensics on Leilani's house and she said her child ran away, and that's in Georgia. For several days, but they went in there. I mean, they were in there within the first 30 days, definitely by the first 60 days. Everything I've read said forensics should be done within the first 90 days, without doubt. Should all be done by the first 90 days. It should be collected within that first 90 days. That's what it's been. I've read a lot of stuff. If you guys don't believe me, do your own research. But I've read a lot of stuff. The forensics should be done within 90 days. They have done nothing. We're like literally at 6 months. Well, just passing. You guys know. All right, small town girls, then send me the freaking receipts. Okay? I'd like to see the freaking receipts, and I want to see Chris and Katie's name on it. But I can tell you, what do you got? $500? Is that the most they spent for their son? Because if that's the case, that is bullshit no matter how you look at it. But you can be snooty and say, I'll send you the receipts. Can't wait to see them. As a matter of fact, since you're still in here, why don't you send them to me now so I can review them here online? And I'm going to have to corroborate them. And I will. So go ahead and send me what you got. Do KO have receipts of bowling, shopping, Roadhouse? Well, we know they were at the Roadhouse. We have them on video there, so that's definite. But, I don't know what they have. I know people have gone to the bowling alley. That was one place I didn't get a chance to go to, was the bowling alley. And I would have liked to have gone to the bowling alley to see what they had, what kind of cameras they had, look at the gaming area to see how that whole gaming area is set up and stuff like that. But I just didn't get an opportunity. I was too busy trying to get a good understanding of where, I knew where it was, but I didn't get a chance to go in because I was back and forth between Memphis and St. Jude's and Hendersonville and Clarksville. Why do people need receipts for someone else's money? When I'm at the store, I don't ask others because this is YouTube and the entitled elitist BS on here, the PC culture, this disgusting PC culture that I loathe on these platforms. But hey, if she wants to send me some receipts, send me some receipts, but just expect a butt whipping, because I can guarantee whatever they have provided is too little. It's too little, too late. Katie should have at least been arrested for negligence, abandonment, something. I agree. But you know what? The laws don't support it, unfortunately. There's something in there that the laws do support, but they're messing around. They're messing around. CP also said the punishment for Sebastian, the punishment must finish. And you know what? We're still sitting here like this lady here, the small town chick or whatever her name is, sitting here just wanting to root for the CPs, root for KP, and all this other stuff, and trying to say about receipts. And I want to show you guys the receipts, because when she shows me the receipts, you're going to see how long ago it was that they gave this measly little donation to their son. Not one receipt after that. I guarantee it. I absolutely know 100%. And I'm going to have to corroborate every little bit of it, because I don't trust anybody when it comes to CP or KP. I think people out here are disgusting. Right? They're disgusting and they have no common sense. And people are on their channels listening to this. They've never gotten one thing, literally nothing right in all of these cases. In all of these cases, they've never gotten one of these cases or nothing right or figured out, because they're always behind the 8 ball, because they need law enforcement telling them what to say. You know, they have to be told what to say or how to think. They can't, you know, they have no mind thought. They have no problem solving skills. They have no education or experience to actually do independent thinking or research on their own to develop a fact. They have to be told what law enforcement thinks happened for them. Like, if I had to listen to law enforcement or the FBI with the whole Donald Trump thing, I guarantee nothing will ever get done. There is no way in hell I'm trusting our FBI or our Secret Service to give us a damn thing that's truthful. None. None. And I can tell you, I'm going to be out there. I will be in Pennsylvania. I am going to be looking at this. I'm going to be speaking to people. I'm going to understand exactly what happened that day. They may be having a lot of oversight committees in our federal government, but I'm having Bullhorn Betty oversight here. And I got to tell you, I'm not listening to our federal government. I am not listening. They're already starting to peddle today's meeting. Oh, lone wolf. No, there's enough information out there that said that there is attachment to somebody in the FBI, and I want to know who that is. And you know what? I don't trust anybody. Unless somebody is called out for working with this guy, I don't trust anything. Because I know it's there. That's why. And we have the biggest and best law enforcement bodies, and they're telling us that he's a lone wolf. They ain't worth the salt. They ain't worth their name on a piece of paper that they sign. They're garbage. And they have no backbone to stand up to the deep state and to tell us what really happened. So I'm going to keep going down the fact that I believe this was not a lone wolf. And I believe that our federal government was 100% involved. 100%. I think that lady in the crowd was absolutely the assistant director of the FBI. There is ad data and stuff that leads right to an FBI building that Thomas Matthew Crooks was near. And a phone that was really close to that FBI building meeting him. I'm not going to allow my federal government or law enforcement to lie to me. This is why I do the job I do. No, I'm not going to sit here and wait for law enforcement to tell me what I'm allowed to say on these platforms. I do the work just myself, right? And it's funny because people out there in the public seem to get the information a lot quicker and with a lot more specificity than we can get from our law enforcement. So I'm going to continue doing my job the way I'm doing it. And that's what makes me have such a high batting average on this channel with the information and putting these cases together to make sense of them. Not just Sebastian Rogers, not just Summer Wells, but also this case right now with Donald Trump. Okay? I'm angry. I'm angry about the whole thing. I'm angry about the lies. I'm angry about Director Kim Cheadle's. Cheadle had no business talking to. She should have just came clean. She might have saved her job. Well, no, she was going to go out anyways. A president got hit in the head. No matter how you look at it, she did not do her job. So she was going to go out anyways, but she should have had integrity. She should have told Congress what they needed to hear. She should have told them the truth. She knew her career was over. This was a career-ending move. I feel like she was screwed. I feel like they put an incompetent woman in charge of the Secret Service and they were able to play her. I really do. I really do. And while she was trying to, hobnob with all the rich elites, instead of doing her damn job, which they knew she would do, she created the vacuum that created the situation that put Donald Trump in harm's way. And it was created for a purpose. Nobody's that lax. Nobody's that stupid. Let's be honest. There is not a law enforcement body in this world that is as stupid as what we just saw. There's no incompetence here. This was intentional. You cannot tell me all of these things were total incompetence. They bowed completely against law enforcement protocols at the basic level. At their basic level. It is insane. So we're going to keep going down both of these cases. I'm going to be in Tennessee soon, and then I'm going to be going over to Pennsylvania to do investigative reporting on the attempted assassination of the 45th president and soon to be the 47th president of this United States, Donald J. Trump. Many of you guys know the man has been very gracious to me and my friends. His family has been very gracious to me and my friends. And we have a more personal level, not only with him, but with his family. This angers me to my core. And I'm going to fight for him as hard as I fight for Sebastian Rogers. That's all I got to say. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for chatting with me. It's been so nice. This Tuesday evening, tomorrow's going to be hump day. We're going to be getting back in the swing of things where we're producing a lot of videos, producing some information. If you guys have any breaking news cases that are coming up or something that interests you or that I need to look into, don't overwhelm my chat, but please send me those new cases over at your earliest convenience so we can just take a peek under the hood to see if it's something that we can help with. God bless you. Have a great evening. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, we're bringing love thy neighbor back in this weird thing that many of us forgot called unity. See you soon.